Even go! Yeah! Good job.
No, that we get.
Whew, good job. Squad needed it. Played Fever way. I love it. More of them.
She was injured. Out. Doubts swirled. The undefeated champions believed their biggest threat was neutralized. But on June 14th, Caitlin Clark didn't just return to the court, she exploded. Weeks after a brutal quad injury against the very team that seemingly knocked her out, Clark unleashed a performance so utterly devastating it redefined impossible. She dropped 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds, shattering the New York Liberty's perfect record in a dominant 102-88 victory. Yet, the raw numbers only scratched the surface of the shocking, untold truth behind this mind-bending comeback. Prepare for the unseen story of defiance, mystery, and a revelation that will send shivers down your spine.
Back in the lineup, I'm ready to go.
I think you're just excited more than anything. It gets kind of difficult when you prepare for a game. Obviously, when I'm on the bench, still knowing the scout, knowing everything that the other team's going to do, and still trying to mentally prepare and go through everything like I'm going to play, even though I knew I wasn't going to play. So, doing that, but also knowing I was going to be able to be active today, I think gives you a little extra juice. So I'm certainly excited just to get back out there, get playing, and really good opportunity for us at home here, coming off of a loss. So it's a big game.
The injury itself struck like a cruel, unexpected blow on May 24th. In a bruising, relentlessly physical clash against these very same New York Liberty players, Clark's explosive quad gave way. The incident, instantly shrouded in controversy due to what many observers decried as a starkly poorly officiated game, landed with devastating precision at the absolute worst conceivable moment. The Indiana Fever, a young, nascent team still desperately striving to forge its own identity, watched in grim silence as their undeniable cornerstone crumbled before their very eyes. Simultaneously, the Liberty, still basking in the glow of their recent championship, were riding an almost mythical wave of dominance, systematically dismantling every opponent in their path, appearing utterly, frustratingly unassailable, while Clark was condemned to endure 3 agonizing, seemingly endless weeks, confined to the cold, unforgiving sidelines, a mere spectator to her own unfolding, uncertain destiny. The Liberty continued their relentless, seemingly unstoppable march. They steamrolled through the league, their undefeated streak swelling with each passing, effortless victory, cultivating an almost palpable, unsettling sense that they had, with chilling efficiency, somehow removed their greatest threat from the equation.
I don't know if you guys have seen or heard, but Caitlin Clark is in fact back.
Just coming into this after 2 weeks off, do you anticipate being on the minutes restriction today?
Not that I've been told. I don't anticipate, a certain level. I'm not a huge fan of minute restrictions. I think that's silly. I told them, I don't want to come back unless I'm 100% full go. Why would I be out there to play 20 minutes? I'm out there to win and give everything I have for this team.
The reigning champions weren't merely winning, they were delivering a chilling, unambiguous message to every other team in the league. Nobody can touch us. Without their transcendent superstar, the Fever predictably faltered, stumbling through her absence with a dismal 2-3 record. Doubts, insidious and pervasive, began to seep into every hidden corner of the league. Fans, analytical pundits, and even members of the team itself openly questioned everything. Could Clark ever truly irrevocably recapture her once dominant, electrifying form after such a significant, debilitating setback? Would the quad injury permanently cripple her explosive first step, the very engine that powered her breathtaking game? And what about that signature, almost mythical deep shooting range that had transformed her from a talented collegiate player into a global phenomenon? The uncertainty hanging in the air was a heavy, suffocating cloak, relentlessly smothering any lingering embers of hope. The murmurs grew louder, forming a grim, unsettling chorus. Is this the beginning of the end for the Clark phenomenon?
Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm when she follows through and then fouls her for the 4th time on her arm. It's cheating. It's plain as day. The haters will say she got locked up. Yeah, if you're fouling the whole game. that I'm going through this entire game. The corrupt refs gave this game to New York and they still barely won.
But the New York Liberty, along with every single pundit and doubting voice, gravely, unequivocally miscalculated one utterly crucial factor: the unyielding, infernal fire that burned with a silent, consuming intensity within Caitlin Clark. While the entire world watched, analyzed, and doubted, Clark was not resting. She was not recuperating. She was locked away, an unseen warrior meticulously, obsessively preparing for this exact defining moment. Every single day of those 3 agonizing weeks became a relentless crucible of physical therapy, an unyielding test of mental fortitude, and a brutal internal psychological warfare. She didn't just passively rest, she relentlessly rebuilt. She pored over countless hours of game film, dissecting every opposing player, every nuanced defensive strategy, every potential weakness she could possibly exploit. She visualized her triumphant return with an almost hypnotic intensity, replaying every perfect shot, every precise no-look pass in her mind, cultivating a razor-sharp mental edge that bordered on the obsessive. Her coach, with a gentle understanding, urged her to grant herself a little grace as she navigated the treacherous path of recovery, reminding her of the 5 games she had agonizingly missed compared to her teammates. But Clark, with a characteristic, almost defiant certainty, delivered her unwavering, non-negotiable demand: "I don't want to come back unless I'm 100% full go."
Coach White has told me, like, just give yourself a little grace as you kind of figure things back out, as you get back into the groove here. You know, I've missed 5 games. My teammates have played 5 more games than I have. So it's just going to be a little bit of, you know, shaking the rust off, giving myself some grace. But I feel like I've prepared in the manner that I'm ready for this game. I feel like I've been great in practice. I feel like our team has been really good in practice. And, you know, obviously practice isn't the exact replica of a game, but I think Coach White does a really good job of putting us in situations that are going to be fairly similar.
Why would I be out there to play 20 minutes? I'm out there to win and give everything I have for this team. This wasn't just a recovery. It was a deeply personal, fiercely guarded rearmament, a silent, unshakable promise to herself, to her team, and to the millions who had believed in her that she would not merely return to the court, but she would transcend. She would return a force not just equal to her former self, but fundamentally, undeniably superior. Every excruciating rep, every lonely hour of film study, every deep breath taken in solitude forged a new, hardened version of the superstar. The stage was set not for a simple return, but for a shocking transformation.
This for UNESCO, and here comes Clark. This is one thing you get with Clark is great pace and great passes. Found Boston perfectly.
As game day finally loomed, the pervasive anticipation didn't just build, it crescendoed into an almost unbearable, palpable fever pitch. The sheer magnitude of the moment was underscored by staggering numbers that spoke volumes, and colossal 2.22 million viewers, an unprecedented sea of eyes tuned in across ABC and ESPN+, cementing this showdown as the second most watched WNBA game ever on that network. This wasn't merely a basketball game, it was a global cultural phenomenon, a high-stakes reckoning that transcended sport. Every single individual, from the most devout, rabid fans to the most casual, fleeting observer, yearned to witness if the superstar, freshly emerged from the shadow of injury, could truly deliver under the crushing, almost suffocating weight of expectation. During warm-ups, Clark moved with an almost ethereal fluidity, an unsettling intensity, a raw fire blazing in her eyes that perfectly mirrored her resolute pregame declaration.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 2 players with incredible ball from Cunningham. Clark, another long 3. She's back.
You could discern the unshakable determination etched into every fluid movement, every crisp practice shot, every silent, focused interaction with her teammates. The stage was set with a painter's meticulous precision, an injured icon, making her dramatic, long-awaited return against the undefeated, seemingly invincible defending champions, the very team that had, in a cruel twist of fate, inadvertently forced her from the court. Now they stood as the final colossal barrier between her and her resounding, long-awaited revenge. Clark's mission was twofold. She had to unequivocally prove that her body could not only withstand the unimaginable physical pressures of elite competition, but more profoundly, she had to unequivocally show the entire basketball universe that she wasn't simply back. She was, without any doubt, better than she had ever been before. Every single person in that arena and every pair of eyes fixed on a screen felt the electric tension in the air, a silent question hanging heavy. Could she truly defy the odds, or would the undefeated champions deliver a crushing final blow to the myth of Caitlin Clark? The answer was about to explode into the night.
And Cunningham is
Caitlin
down
from the
behind
logo.
the play.
Oh my God!
But they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from three. And Cunningham
Logo.
just now getting up as she stayed down near the free throw line on the other end.
Oh!
Okay,
Just
why
coming
did
back.
Oh my
he take that?
gosh!
An ankle
Oh
injury,
my
and then
god,
Johannes
and of
very
course Marine
cool.
Johannes
Two
countered
players
it. Not
Green.
for the logo, but this is why I
Caitlin
love
from the
the
logo
NBA.
again! We got a shootout! We got a shootout!
Oh
Oh
Again!
my
Fourth
god!
and
No,
go.
no!
The New York Liberty thought they held the psychological advantage, assuming they knew precisely what form Clark's return would take. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared them for the seismic shockwave that utterly detonated in the first quarter. The game itself began as a tight, bruising, back-and-forth affair. Both teams trading powerful blows, the Liberty exuding an almost arrogant air of confident invincibility. Then, with a chilling, preternatural calm, Clark decided it was time to unleash the extraordinary. She crossed half court, her gaze fixed, her movements fluid, and kept pushing, defiantly beyond the conventional three-point line. Then, from an astonishing, almost mythical 34 feet out, directly from the very logo itself, she pulled up. The ball arced with perfect, effortless grace, swishing through the net as if she were casually shooting in her own driveway, utterly unimpeded by gravity or pressure. The crowd instantly erupted, a low rumble of disbelief quickly morphing into an electrifying, deafening roar. But that, incredibly, was merely the opening salvo. A mere few heart-stopping seconds later, Clark did it again. This time, from 28 feet out, a shot that seemed to mock the very laws of physics, especially given the official three-point line sits at a comparatively meek 22 feet. You could feel the arena noise level not just rise, but skyrocket, crashing through the roof. Players on both benches rose to their feet, straining, compelled to comprehend the unfolding, impossible spectacle before them. This was no longer just basketball. It was an audacious act of raw defiance, a statement delivered with an iron fist.
Heat checker!
Ball
Heat checker!
Cunningham.
Get a ball! Get a ball! One more time! Cross! A
Clark,
logo
another
again!
long two.
Ah!
No!
She's back.
Oh my
Most
god!
dynamic
This isn't real.
player in the game.
No.
9 points in 38 seconds for
No.
Caitlin. She hit all three threes.
And not only 9
What's
and
he
30,
going
but look
on?
at the depth
I
on
don't
these
know. I'm
field
literally
goal
like-
attempts. She's
This is-
certainly feeling
Oh
it.
my God.
Left side, right
speechless.
side.
No.
Now come back to your favorite spot
Oh.
again. It doesn't
Oh.
matter if there's a hand.
What
in
am
her
I
face.
watching?
Before anyone could truly process the sheer audacity, the chilling precision, Clark launched a third logo three, this one from 31 feet. The ball, imbued with her signature perfect rotation, ascended high into the air and dropped cleanly through the net, without so much as grazing the iron. The entire Liberty bench, their faces a tableau of profound shock and utter disbelief, collectively shook their heads. Even Brianna Stewart, unequivocally one of the greatest players in the world, was caught on camera, a faint, almost involuntary smile playing on her lips, a nod of pure, unadulterated, grudging respect. These were not lucky shots, random acts of fleeting chance. Each one was perfectly calibrated, executed with that unmistakable, fluid Clark release. Her form flawless, her follow-through smooth and utterly chillingly confident. She looked as if she were casually practicing in her own backyard, not systematically dismantling the defending champions in front of millions of captivated eyes. The crowd's roar was not just loud, it was deafening, a visceral, primal scream that momentarily forced a pause in play, the sheer noise compelling a halt. 3 logo threes in a breathtaking, impossible 38 seconds, a feat that would forever be etched into the memory of all who witnessed it. The momentum didn't just shift, it violently, irrevocably lurched, the Liberty's initial confidence dissolving into outright, visible concern. Clark had announced her return in the most dramatic, unforgettable way imaginable, But those shots, as shocking as they were merely the genesis. The Liberty were about to discover with horrifying clarity precisely what monstrous, unstoppable force they had inadvertently awakened.
Clark wasn't done making her statement. She was just getting started, and the Liberty were about to find out exactly what they had awakened.
When the final buzzer pierced the electric air, Clark's stat line was not just impressive, it read like something conjured from a video game on its easiest, most forgiving setting. 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, all achieved in a mere 31 minutes on the court. For any player, on any given night, these numbers would be phenomenal, career-defining. But this was not just any player, and this certainly was not just any night. Clark was returning from a significant, debilitating injury, an enforced absence that had fueled weeks of intense doubt and widespread speculation, whispers that she might never regain her peak. Yet she moved with an unsettling, almost supernatural fluidity.
Caitlin Clark! Then steps back with the 3 over Brianna Stewart.
Her drives to the basket retained every single ounce of the explosive speed that had, until recently, made her famous. Her first step, once feared to be compromised, was as lightning quick, as unburdened as it had been before the injury, allowing her to attack the rim with a relentless, almost cruel ferocity, as if she had never missed a single day of action. The quad injury that had sidelined her for 3 agonizing weeks now looked like nothing more than a distant, fleeting nightmare. Her court vision, sharper, more intuitive than ever before, allowed her to thread passes through impossible defensive gaps, finding teammates in openings that other players couldn't even perceive, much less exploit. Those 9 assists weren't merely statistical entries, they were a profound testament to a player who fundamentally elevates everyone around her, creating scoring chances that, by all logical measures, simply shouldn't exist.
First loss of the season. Caitlin Wisely killing some more clock. And maybe the dagger. Kelsey Mitchell lighting it up here in the 4th quarter.
Her 8 rebounds, an astonishing feat for a guard of her size, showcased a competitive fire burning with such an intense, consuming inferno that she would fiercely dive for loose balls, battling relentlessly against players often 6 inches taller, grappling in the paint as if her very existence, her entire career, depended on securing every single possession. What made this performance even more jaw-dropping was her ruthless efficiency, a blistering 11 of 20 from the field for a sensational 55% shooting percentage, all while consistently taking incredibly difficult, fiercely contested shots. She went 7 of 14 from beyond the arc, a remarkable display of marksmanship that tied her career high in 3-pointers. She wasn't merely converting easy, open looks. Clark was sinking tough, contested shots, often with multiple defenders' hands directly in her face, their desperation palpable every single time the Liberty, champions though they were, attempted to mount a desperate comeback. Clark had an immediate, devastating, unequivocal answer. Sometimes it was a clutch, soul-crushing 3 from an impossible distance, a dagger plunged into their hopes. Other times it was a perfectly timed, exquisitely delivered assist that set up an easy, momentum-killing basket for a teammate. She exerted complete, unwavering control over the entire game's tempo, dictating its rhythm, its ebb and flow from the opening tip to the final triumphant horn. This singular, unforgettable performance didn't just mark Clark's return, it indelibly cemented her place in the history books, as she surpassed the legendary Candace Parker for the most 30-point, 5-assist, 5-rebound games in a player's first 2 seasons. 3 such games is special for any player at any level. For a rookie sensation returning from a significant injury, it was monumental, bordering on the mythical. This was not merely a return from injury. Clark had clearly, undeniably reached an entirely new echelon of play. Her confidence radiated from her, almost palpable. Her decision-making was instantaneous, lightning fast, and her shots were falling from distances that would be considered fantastical, borderline impossible for anyone else. The Liberty, for all their defensive prowess and championship pedigree, found themselves utterly, frustratingly without an answer for anything Clark chose to do, watching their dominance crumble. But here's the most impressive, the most profoundly telling, and perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the entire night. Clark did not simply dominate, she demonstrably, unequivocally made everyone around her better in the process. The Fever finished the game with an astounding 25 assists on 37 made field goals, a crystal clear, irrefutable indicator of how a true superstar fundamentally elevates an entire team, transforming disparate individuals into a cohesive, unstoppable unit. This was not a solo act, a one-woman show carrying the burden of an entire franchise. It was a perfectly executed symphony conducted by a maestro who instinctively knew how to draw the best from every instrument. This historic victory was definitively separated from just another great individual performance, because the Fever, in a unified, devastating display, proved beyond any doubt that they were a complete, formidable team, ready and capable of competing with absolutely anyone the league could throw at them. For the first time all season, 5 different players exploded into double digits in scoring, a testament to their newfound depth and collective firepower.
Clark nails it. A 17-0 run.
The chemistry from the opening tip to the final triumphant buzzer was not just good, it was undeniably perfect, almost preternatural, as if they had been playing together for years. Kelsey Mitchell, Clark's dynamic backcourt partner, stepped up with a crucial 22 points, showcasing the profound, almost telepathic connection she's cultivated with Clark over the past season. Mitchell, remarkably, may have struggled with her shooting touch earlier in the game, a sign of the immense pressure, but when it truly, definitively mattered in the high-stakes pressure cooker environment of the fourth quarter, she exploded for 10 points, a decisive surge that irrevocably sealed the victory. That, without question, is the true hallmark of a clutch player, finding your rhythm, your unshakable focus, precisely when your team needs it most, when the game hangs in the balance.
It is shocking to see Kennedy Burke miss 1 3 this season. She's leading the league at over 60%, but to see her miss a couple. Count it! As Mitchell celebrates from the floor. Mitchell is simply such a great cutter, and this time going again from the right side to the middle of the floor. Colson head up, finds her, drops the pass. What a tough finish as well.
Coach Sides, beaming, highlighted the team's collective, unwavering resilience. We understand that basketball is a game of runs and not being able to just give up in those moments. She praised Sophie Cunningham's crucial contribution, herself returning from an ankle injury, added yet another devastating weapon to the Fever's formidable arsenal. Cunningham, with an incredible eye-popping plus 31 rating for the night, integrated seamlessly back into the lineup, providing another potent offensive threat that the Liberty, in their desperation, simply couldn't account for. Aaliyah Boston, meanwhile, absolutely dominated the paint, a physical force of nature, grabbing critical rebounds all night long and finishing with an impressive 10 points and 11 rebounds, a dominant double-double.
Found Boston perfectly. Boston Being very physical with Somali. Count it. Fake left, drive right, make it all look so easy. Blocked by Boston.
She battled fiercely, physically, against players who were supposedly stronger and far more experienced, proving her undeniable mettle on the biggest stage. Lexi Hull, with a quiet, efficient precision, knocked down crucial shots from beyond the arc, going 3 of 4 from deep for 14 points, emphatically demonstrating that the Fever now possessed multiple legitimate perimeter threats that the Liberty had to constantly worry about. Their defense stretched thin, and Sydney Colson, the veteran leader, provided invaluable calm leadership and drilled clutch baskets when the game hung precariously in the balance, finishing with 10 points and 6 assists, making crucial, understated plays that often don't show up in the box score but are absolutely vital. Her steady, composed presence kept the entire team calm, focused, and executing under immense, suffocating pressure. This was no longer just a collection of individuals. This was a machine, humming with newly discovered precision.
So congrats on your great performance.
Thanks.
Just want to let you know you have a huge fan base in Hong Kong.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And
hopefully I'll get there one day.
And today, there are 5 Hong Kong fans fly from Hong Kong to
No
Indiana.
way. Oh my gosh.
And the hour is 22 hours.
No
Your
way.
number.
Oh
So
my
any-
goodness. Well, I wish I could have
just
met
want to say
them.
this, including me.
If you
So-
know them, tell them thank you for coming. That's
So-
incredible.
Yeah. So any plans you will visit Hong Kong with your teams in the future years?
Yeah, maybe we'll head to Hong Kong after the season. I mean, I certainly hope to go to Hong Kong one day. It's incredible to see the type of reach that we can have and how much people love basketball across the globe. So that's really cool. So if you know them, tell them I say hello. And
The most telling and arguably the most shocking moment of the entire night, however, arrived when Clark briefly sat for a much-needed rest in the intense, high-stakes fourth quarter. Instead of faltering, instead of collapsing under the weight of expectation, the team astonishingly extended their lead. They moved the ball with the seamless, precise choreography of a championship-caliber squad. Every player, without hesitation, understood their role, executing their assignments flawlessly, as if connected by an invisible thread. The Fever, in a dazzling display of collective firepower, shattered a franchise record, sinking an astounding 17 three-pointers at a blistering 48% clip from beyond the arc. This was no longer by any stretch of the imagination just Caitlin Clark carrying the monumental weight of the entire team on her slender shoulders. This was a complete, unified unit firing on all cylinders, unleashing an offensive onslaught against the undisputed best team in the league. The final score, a commanding 102-88, etched a profound, undeniable story into the annals of WNBA history. A team had not only found its long-sought identity, but was now, with an almost terrifying certainty, refusing to back down from anyone, daring challengers to step forward. The New York Liberty, until this fateful night, undefeated, had not conceded 100 points all season, a testament to their defensive prowess. Until this night, this commanding, record-breaking victory proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that when healthy, when fully engaged and clicking, this Indiana Fever team can compete with anyone, anywhere, under any circumstances. And the rest of the league, the sleeping giants of the WNBA, they had better, with immediate urgency, take profound notice. A new force had arrived, and their warning shot had just echoed across the entire landscape of professional basketball. Caitlin Clark's return was not merely a comeback, it was everything her most fervent fans had hoped for, and infinitely, spectacularly more. It was a defiant roar, a declaration that transcended mere basketball, but the true unfolding narrative, the story that will captivate and compel for seasons to come, is what this team, forged in the crucible of adversity, transformed and galvanized by their superstar's return, can now accomplish together moving forward. They shattered a franchise record with an unprecedented 17 three-pointers. They witnessed 5 different players break into double digits, a profound display of collective strength. The chemistry, which once seemed elusive, was now undeniably perfect, a fluid, beautiful dance from the opening tip to the final celebratory buzzer. This, in its purest, most breathtaking form, is precisely what championship teams embody when every single piece clicks into place at the precise, most crucial moment. The seismic echoes of that electrifying night will reverberate far beyond a single game, resonating across across the entire league, signaling the undeniable dawn of a new, exciting era for the Indiana Fever. An era where the impossible, once a distant dream, now seems not just within their grasp, but an inevitability. The question is no longer if they can compete, but rather, with this newly forged, seemingly unstoppable force, how far will they truly go? What higher peaks will they ascend? The journey has only just begun, and the basketball world waits with bated breath to see the next chapter of this astonishing, unfolding saga.